There seems to be an excellent trend these days of the rise of interest in the religion of Islam amongst people who are influential to a great number of young adults.
Islam.
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 They all share, surprisingly, a relatively common reason as to why all of a sudden Islam became an attractive prospect for a way of life.
No, I'm not an atheist. We didn't really grow up going to church. I went to Catholic high school, and, to be honest, in school, I never really paid too much attention. And I think that the way we were wired from when we were little is to kind of keep us, and even a lot of the stuff that goes on is to keep our brains trapped. So I think that, I don't know.
I was so certain for all of my life I'd be an atheist for the rest of my life. Like, I don't believe in God, right? Maybe you've seen over the last 1 year or so that I've really started to consider this more and more, to the point now that I'm literally reading the Quran, partying and drinking alcohol, enjoying yourself. I did all of that. I indulged in that lifestyle, all that the godless West has to offer. And here I am today in front of you saying, it wasn't that great. Why is it that you see men like Andrew Tate, who again has experienced all that the West has to offer, all these hedonistic pleasures, convert into Islam? Because once you've fulfilled all of these primal desires of yours, you're left with this spiritual numbness, this emptiness, but then also this paranoia, this fear of what may arise when you are a godless man.
I believe that, religion wasn't for me, and, you don't need God in your life to live a very happy life. Until I started to look around at what other atheists were doing. So imagine joining a team of people, essentially, and looking around at your teammates, and you see people bragging about how many abortions they have, people with purple hair talking about how being a minor attracted person, or as I like to call them, a pedophile, is a sexual orientation. And I was looking around at how atheists were behaving, and I thought, whoa. Maybe I've missed a trick. Maybe there was something to this that I dismissed as a young boy. I spend a lot of time in Dubai. I have a massive respect for Islam. I look at the way that their daughters behave, the way that they run their families. The same with Orthodox Christianity, the way their daughters behave, the way they run their families. I'm like, there's something to this. This is so much better than atheism. I would certainly say this. God is powerful. God is absolutely and ultimately powerful. God's power is certainly real within all of us, if you let it in. I love Islam, I love Christianity. Atheism sucks. Atheism's for nerds.
Yeah, I don't want to be an atheist nerd anymore, because that's when I feel I had no purpose, had no direction in life. I feel more alive believing in God and believing in good.
I've been atheist for literally most of my life, and only just in the last few months have I realized something has got to change. Now, Tate has recently just come out and said that he's Muslim, and he's a man that I respect. I hope that this video doesn't seem like I'm just imitating him or copying him, because this is a major life decision that we're talking about. But he's a man that I respect, and when he's gave the arguments for and against believing in God, for and against being religious, it makes total sense to me.
Andrew, good to see you.
Salam alaikum, peers.
Good to see you.
Because I am now Islamic. And it's funny because I used to be an atheist, and when you're an atheist, you believe that religion causes more problems than it fixes, and then you come to a realization and you start to learn the truth of yourself and the truth of God, and you realize that religion is actually the cure for most of the problems in the world, and godlessness is the problem in the world. So I believe that Islam is beautiful. I believe it's the last true religion on earth. It's certainly the last respected religion on earth. And I felt differently inside since I've converted, and I think it has the solutions to a lot of the problems we're facing in the world today.
Alright, so recently Andrew Tate has converted to Islam, and because of that, we're going to be looking at 10 surprising facts about Islam.
Tate just said this in a recent podcast of his, that Islam is a cure for degeneracy. I can't think of any other better cure. I honestly can't. How interesting is that you are seeing the rise of strong men who are from Western countries, who have indulged in every pleasure that the degenerate Western world has to offer, and you are seeing these men take a big step away from the Western world and telling you it's not even that great. You're literally seeing guys who have indulged in everything, and they're telling you that it's not that great.
I totally agree. All these liberals and stuff that are pushing for all these crazy agendas, that's what they're idolizing, is abortions and being, sleeping around and all of that stuff. That's what they idolize, and that's so unfulfilling. I mean, those
They're
people,
not happy.
they get depressed, and then they go to the doctor, and even the doctor who you see as the verified truth is now telling them to take a pill. So I'm like, this is what I've grown up to see as innate truth and to trust. And I'm like, I just see all of it as such a scam nowadays. It just feels like everything with school, everything was just to program me. So even if it's not in the sense of I'm trying to find the truth and, what prophet said this, I'm just trying to find the actual truth of what's around me. You know what I mean?
And if you look at the world today and understand that people like Balenciaga, people who are purporting these ideals on children, people who are trying to chop everybody's dicks off, people who are trying to make you get injections you don't need, if you're looking at this and understanding that this is the work of demons, this is the work of the devil. These people are truly evil. There's no other way to explain it besides the fact there's so much evil in the world. I've seen enough evil and seen enough of Satan to understand that God must exist. Truthfully, I don't think there's any other religion than Islam. And the reason for that is just simply because I believe God should be feared. I think there's one God. There's maybe different interpretations, but there's only one God. But the different interpretations of said God, I think it should be the one that is most fearsome. God is going to be a feared individual. God is going to be somebody who you do not want to cross or upset. And I think that Islam describes him best. So I understood first that God must be real. And I've always had healthy respect for Islam. And it was just a matter of me going through my own personal journey to find the religion that was easiest for me to respect almost. Because I think that how can you worship or believe in something you don't respect? And if you look at a lot of the garbage coming out about Christian preachers now in America who are trans and Christian preachers with gay flags on the church and all this insanity, I think that Christianity's lost its way. So if I believe in God and Christianity's lost its way, then I've been shown the truth, and the truth must be Islam.
I like the respect that Islam promotes. And I think in the West, I agree with Tate. The comparison is that you could walk around with the shirt that says Jesus is gay and nobody will blink an eye. I've had one-on-one calls with people and they said like, yeah, I'm going to a party that's twerking for Jesus. And I'm like, what? And being anti-Christian is marketed as it's fun. Like the rappers are all like dropping crosses in their album covers and on screen that they use Satan to promote their music. It's anti-Christian in the West is a fun thing that people use. It's an aesthetic choice. But I like the fact that Islam doesn't tolerate any of that. And I think that most Islamic people have their heads screwed on properly, where they have a sense of guidance that they can follow that keeps their morality in check. Whereas a lot of other religions and other trains of thought, it could derail you. And I think a lot of people now use their political ideology as their religion. They use LGBT as their religion. They use like Democratic Party. And it's just like they adamantly believe in people and they worship celebrities and politicians rather than God. And I think the best, if you're going to follow something, it should be God. And in the West, it hasn't been Christianity. And I personally grew up Catholic. And Catholicism, I've just seen a lot of hypocrisies in it, where we have something in Catholicism which is called confession, where you sit down and then you confess to the priest. No matter what you did, even if you killed somebody, like you can literally confess a murder and talk about getting out of wedlock, any sin, and the priest will say, all right, say 10 Hail Marys, 10 Our Fathers, and you're good. And I sat in confession, it doesn't really sound like they're listening. I don't like it the fact that they walk around with a donation basket. I'm pretty sure it's the same with the mosque, but like the Christian church doesn't pay taxes. A lot of people profit off of it. There's a lot of pastors, like even on YouTube, some of the most highest super chatted channels on YouTube are Christian pastors. And I've just seen the way that they flock to it, and it just seems false. And it seems like they worship a lot of false idols, and people use Christianity for the wrong things. But Islam seems the most grounded, and it seems like it promotes family values and conservative values more than most people that I've spoken with. And especially the people that I admire the most since I was a kid. Even people that did not grow up with Islam found Islam. People that I admire, like Dave Chappelle, Malcolm X. And I respect those people a lot, and I like their trains of thought. And I think that that's a good thing to follow.
Now we as Muslims, can we question their intentions? Well, obviously in the internet, there seems to be a lot of mixed reactions when it comes to this matter. Many have brought up the point that they may not be sincere, that they may only be interested in Islam merely for their clout, for attention. But in Islam, we are taught to avoid questioning other people's intentions, especially to those who are learning about Islam or are new to Islam. These people have a voice, regardless of whatever their true intentions were. Allah had chosen them to help this deen through their respective outlets. If truly their intentions were insincere, whatever benefits that they received in this dunya are mere pittance compared to the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there was a companion, specifically Usama ibn Zayd, in the middle of a battle with his opponent who was on the brink of defeat, hastily declared that he is converting to Islam right there and then in the battlefield. But the Sahabi judged that the man was not sincere. He was obviously not sincere. He was just trying to save himself. So, not believing in him, he delivered the final blow. When he reported this back to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet was angry. He was clearly angry. The Prophet admonished him greatly, and he questions Usama. He said, "Did you tear open his heart to know that he meant it or not?" Meaning that we don't really know what is in their hearts. Maybe he was sincere, maybe he was. The Prophet repeatedly told him this. And Usama, understandably, was filled with regret. Who are we to question the intentions of others? What is in their hearts? We don't know. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide whoever who is willing to learn about Islam. May Allah opens many more hearts to learn about this beautiful religion of ours in this modern world. That is exactly what we need. More conversations about Islam, more people to talk about Islam, especially to the Western world. And may Allah protect us Muslims from this sickness of hasty judgments. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Tasneem. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to Islamica to support Islamica's da'wah works. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.